My name's Kaz. Welcome to my mind and body class here. We work at Christchurch alongside our parks and we give you 5 classes a week. All you need is a mat. Don't necessarily need anything else. No trainers. If you've got yoga socks, excellent. It's primarily going to be sort of Tai Chi and a bit of yoga later. So let's get started. We're going to come into just a nice closed leg stance. So we don't normally close our legs if it's uncomfortable, if your knees together. So it's a little bit uncomfortable for me. So just have your legs a little bit apart. Try and get them as close to you as you possibly can. And we're going to take our arms up to the side. So we're going to get the mobility in our shoulders and everywhere else on the top half. So do it really nice and slowly. Open our palms as well as we come up. So we want to imagine as if we're birds, as if we're flying. Yeah. Tai Chi can be related to so many things, very much water. So imagine rise and fall of water. We can keep our eyes closed if we want to, if we're quite secure with our balance. And up to the side. So we're getting that full mobility in the shoulders here doing this, and our wrists. We want to create our lady fingers, which is what they call, it's very sexist, but it's where you just have like really delicate hands. Yeah. I know lots of men that got nice delicate hands though, so I want you to slowly bring your hands down to your center, palms facing you. And you're going to sweep it up and sweep it down. So imagine as if it is water rising up and rising down. Nice and slowly, your palms are facing down. We lift up and we come down. Try not to lock your legs out. Yeah, there's not a lot of focus in our legs at the moment. Try not to lock them out. Draw it up and down. So imagine as if this is water rising and falling. Now we're going to open the door. So we basically take our legs a little bit wider. You've opened the door. We're going to step out onto our beach and we're going to step into one corner and imagine as if we're pushing the waves and they're drawing back in. Push the waves back, or just picture the waves coming back from the beach up and then rolling back into the sea. So lots of visualization with Tai Chi. Bring your palms in towards you. So you're collecting that energy, pushing away any of the negative stuff, bring it back. Have your feet come back to that stance that's comfortable, just outside your hips. Pushing it away. So now we're getting a little bit of mobility in our legs. So the circulation has to work a little bit. So as we move everything, our heart has to work a little bit harder. We're going to come back onto the spot and we're going to point our direction into the sunset as we push away and bring it back. So this can be done in your own time. You don't necessarily have to follow my time. And I just want you to focus, really try to visualize the waves rolling in and the waves rolling out. So I've been trying to do a lot more Tai Chi practice and meditation practice over the last few weeks, just trying to mix up my classes, but also trying to help my mental health, draw it in. Yeah. It's all been battered and bruised over the last 18 months from the pandemic, so we all need to try to pull ourselves out. If we get into a hole every now and then, and our meditation and Tai Chi should help. Come back. We're going to take, they call this hugging the tree. I really hate this term because it sounds so hippie. Not there's anything wrong with that, but we're not tree huggers, but we're going to hug our tree and bring it round. Get round. So we're constantly thinking about that energy, bringing it in, sweeping it round, bringing it in. Keep those palms facing you. So we're keeping the energy all around us, within us. Hugging naturally. Bring it in, around. So we're going to find our ball of energy, or they like to call it in Tai Chi our moon. So we're going to have our palm up and one palm down, and we're going to just caress around. So you've got to imagine as if you've got a ball that you're rolling round. So picture that ball. I really want you to try the visualization today. Picture that ball that you're holding. It can be here from the top to the bottom. Try to get it so it's like a hug. Roll it around. Picture it. Imagine as if the warmth coming from your hands is actually you holding on to that energy ball. For me, it's energy, yeah? In old time practice of Tai Chi, they call it a moon, but everything needs to come up to the 21st century. And I find that if you focus on your energy more here as one thing, then we can do that in all everyday life. So we're caressing it all the way around. Bringing it all the way around. So this is good. We're only focusing on this and we're thinking about nothing else, hopefully. Take your hands back to your center and lift up. Make it really, really long this time. We're going to take our legs a little bit wider. And each time we come down, we're going to get a bit more mobility in our knees, in our hips. So a lot of Tai Chi practice in the 21st century is obviously strength and mobility. So a lot of ancient practice wouldn't normally do this. But I think in everything we do, we should always be focusing on trying to move the body as much as we possibly can. Yeah, it doesn't have to be high impact. It doesn't have to be really fast, but it needs to be mobile so that we can keep mobile for as long as we possibly can. So try to make those squats a little bit deeper. We're pushing the energy down. We're pushing the energy to find that deep squat. So imagine it's really warm. You lift up. The energy that you're creating to lift up pulls you up. And then you push it down. And then you find the energy and you come down into that deeper squat if you can. Lift it up. That's forcing you up. Take it all the way up. Bring it down into those deeper squats. So we're going to open our hips. Come on up. Push it all the way up. Palms facing the ceiling this time. And we're going to come down all the way out to the side with our palms down and swing up. Then the palms come up and they come into a heart center prayer position. And then we come down. Palms face down as they come down. Palms face up as they come up. Sinking deeper in to that squat. We add a little bounce. We're getting deeper, maybe a little bit quicker. Making sure that we're breathing Tai Chi breaths, very much like our yogic breath. We're going to do 2 more here, wherever you're at. Sweep it down, lift, lift. And bring your hands to your heart center. So hopefully we should feel that last little bit a little bit warmer, definitely a lot more mobile. We're going to come into our warrior 1 position. So I've got a nice little bit of vinyasa, a little bit of a sequence that I did last night with one of my yoga classes. So we're going to come into our warrior 1. So if you can't remember to set it up, I will go through it anyway. We want to try and create a nice wide stance. So remember how I explained, hopefully, if you come to me all the time, how to find your wide stance. You would take your arms out and you would try to get your feet sort of as close underneath your wrists as you can. And that's a really nice wide stance. Now that is all going to depend on how you're feeling today. If your hips hurt, you're not going to find it very deep, so that's fine. But we want this back foot to face the corner of our mats if we're on mats, or a visualization, a 5 past or a 5-2 on the clock, tiny little angle. If you want to take a more advanced option and you do yoga a lot, you can take both your feet to face one way. Yeah, it's a lot harder because you've really got to focus on your balance. Otherwise, just out to the side, very small part. And that's going to focus on the glutes. This front leg is bent. So we make sure that our knee is on top of our ankle rather than over it, it's on top. We turn our whole torso to face what is now become our front leg. So face that. You bring your arms all the way up. You take your eye gaze up as well if you can. And if we lean back a little bit, we get a little back bend. If it's too much, don't take it back so far. There is our warrior one. Take a couple of really nice deep breaths here. So I'm going to show you the warrior two. So we try to remember those. We've got those in our minds. Yeah. This is obviously a mind and body class. We're going to try and think about the next step each time because this is a vinyasa flow this morning. So we're going to come into our warrior two. So all we do is we turn this back foot out to a 90-degree angle or a 1/4 or a 1/4 past on the clock. This front leg doesn't change very much. It should stay in that bend all the time. If you've got bad knees, you do need to come up a little bit. I do. Otherwise, all that's really changed is your back foot comes out to face the long end of the mat, or it comes out to a 1/4. You've faced your whole torso now to what's become our front. Our palms are out and our eye gaze, our drishti, takes on a side gaze. That is your warrior two. So that's what we're going to find in our little sequence. To extend your warrior two, I want you to shift your weight. So this is why sometimes it's a really good idea to have your camera on so you can see your form. So don't show me this. Watch what my body does. It's in its warrior two position. All that's moving is that top part of the body. That's what we want to focus on. That top part is shifting. Then you put your elbow on your thigh and you take your arm over. There's your extended warrior two. So we've got these nailed, these two nailed, yeah? The bits after that in the flow, I don't really need to explain very much because we're all going to get it. So come back up into your warrior one. So remember, we take a really nice step back. Nice step back. We organize that foot just off to a 5-2 or a 5 past. This is still on the same leg for now because we're going to start our flow. This is a nice little sequence. It's not our sun salutations, it's the vinyasa. So we're going to work through this. So we have our arms up high, our ears are between our biceps. And for a little bit more of an option, we can have our heel up at the front if we want to take that to a little bit more of extension. We can also take our arms forward so that we create a nice line from our fingertips to that back heel. There's your option. Take a deep breath here. And we're going to come into our warrior two. So you turn your back foot out. You take your arms into a windmill position. You turn your whole torso around. We're in our warrior two. We extend our warrior two by shifting our weight. Elbow on our knee, arm over. The options here, we can lift our heel up again. We can take our arm away. We can take that arm around the back. We lift up, we open our chest. This is our option. Taking that eye gaze up is our warrior two. Now, all we're going to do is come up into our warrior two again. So we come up. And we're going to come into our triangle. So we straighten that front leg. That's all we do in a triangle. That's the only difference between a triangle and a warrior two. There's your warrior two, triangle. into your triangle. We're going to extend our triangle again. We shift the weight. We're not bending the legs. They all stay exactly the same. We shift and we tip. We can hold on to our shin if we need that bit more support. Tiny little knee bend if necessary. Otherwise, you take it away. You create a nice line from the fingertips going all the way down. You can keep your eye gaze up, or you can keep your eye gaze forward. But if it's down, it's most likely to start doing this. And this is a chest opener. We want it up. Nice deep breath here. Then we're going to come up. And we're going to turn both our feet to face the front. Both the feet to face the front. Little bend in the knee. We're going to do a nice wide fold. So I'm going to do it from the side so we can see the wide fold. So I just want you to watch really quickly before we do it all together. So I want you to imagine as if you are tipping from the hip. And when you get to a certain point, I want to see a flat back extension, like someone can have their lunch off your dinner. Lunch off your dinner, lunch off your back. So you're going to tip. And there we go. Someone, hopefully, if they wanted to, could eat their lunch off my back. I want you to get that nice flat back extension for a few seconds. You carry on tipping forward. You hang your head heavy and you take your arms down heavy as well. So nice wide stance from that warrior two. We turned our feet forward, or from that triangle. We tip. There we go. We create a nice flat back extension. Then we come down and we hang that heavy and we try to get as close as we can to splitting ourselves in half, folding ourselves in half, sorry. Use your weight. You guys know that do this often with me. I've told you loads of times that this head weighs 11 pounds. Yeah, that's a human head, an adult human head. That is like a small baby on our shoulders that we're carrying around in that neck. So use that weight to stretch your spine a little bit longer. Taking those deep breaths. Have your hands really flat on the floor. You're going to work your feet in, walk your feet in. So they're just underneath our shoulders thereabouts. And we're going to sit down into our Hindi squat, into our goddess, whatever you want to call it. You're going to take your hands into your prayer position and you're going to push your elbows into the thighs and open our hips out. So we're in that Hindi squat. Now, this might hurt. I had a man with Achilles tendonitis yesterday and he was like, oh, I can't do that. So what we can do is we can just come into a little bit more of a squat. Yeah, if that's too much, we're making sure that we're keeping up, though. Nice engagement in the thighs. That's all we want. We are going to do, from here, you're going to take your right leg out to the side and to a nice adductor stretch. So we take our hands either side of one foot, that left foot, either side of that left foot, and then you take your right leg out to the side. So we want to put all of the weight into this part of where we're holding onto the floor with our palms into that foundation leg so that we can really focus on this stretch. So this long leg, you should feel it inside your thighs. Obviously, you feel a little bit of weight here in the quads because this is all holding up your weight. But this is primarily the bit of flexibility in our flow that we want. So really stretch, try to push down and feel it inside the thigh. Taking those deep breaths, you can keep your chest up, but don't curve over. Try to keep those lungs open all the time. Walk it back into our Hindi squat. A nice big breath here. Palms on the floor. Bring your feet in even closer this time, even closer, so they're just underneath your hips. And we're going to hang heavy in this nice straight forward fold. That's all it is, forward fold. So we can get a little bit more hamstring stretch by pushing our legs back if we want it. Hang your head heavy. We're going to roll up really slowly. Really slowly, fingertips to the ceiling into that extended mountain pose. And we're going to take our warrior one and find it on the other side. So we're going to do all of that on the other side. Nice little flow we've got going this morning. So find your warrior one on the other leg. We know how to set it up now. If we don't, I'm still going to remind you anyway. Yeah, your memories might be like mine, where I can't even remember what I had for dinner yesterday. So nice wide stance. We want this front leg bent. We want this back leg off to a 5-2 or a 5 past. We take our whole torso to face what now has become our front leg, which should be the other leg to what we've already done this morning. Lift your arms up high. Eye gaze up for that back bend if you want it. Remember your options. You can bring your heel up at the front. You can take that nice, you're basically putting your weight more onto the front legs. It's even tougher for the quads, but we want to make sure that we create a nice line all the way from the fingertips to the heel. We're going to turn that back leg out. We're going to come into our warrior two. So the front leg stays glued to the floor. Nothing's changed there, but we've turned this foot out to face the long end of the mat, or a 1/4 to 1/4 past. We get ready to shift to extend, shift rather than move across. Elbow on, come over straight away, no support whatsoever, heel up, loads of options. Then come up into our triangle. So we straighten that front leg, that's all we do. Then we're going to turn our feet to face the front. So we're in this nice wide stance still. Remember, we want to try and create a flat back extension as we fold. So we tip from the hip. We can have our hands on our hips. We can have our hands hanging down. Get that nice flat back to start with. And then hang your head really heavy, using that weight from the head to the arms. This is our nice wide forward fold. Taking a couple of breaths here. And then we walk our feet in for that Hindi squat. Walk our feet in so it's just underneath your shoulders, thereabouts. Sit down into it if you can, otherwise a nice wide squat will do. Yeah, or stay in your forward fold. There's loads of options. Taking those elbows into the thighs to push open for that wide hip opener. You've got the control of pushing out your legs in more if you want it. Then we're going to take our hands to the other side from our adductor stretch before. Take that leg out nice and long and feel it inside the thigh. Feel it inside the thigh. So remember, we can keep our chest up. We don't want to curl over. Make sure you can feel it here. A nice deep breath here. Walk your foot back into that Hindu squat. Last little bit here. Going to have your hands on the floor, walk your feet in so they're just underneath our hips. Hang your head heavy. We're into that nice straightforward forward fold from that nice flow. Constant movement with that constant breath. And we're going to come down onto the floor. In any way you can get there, lovely. And we're going to come into our staff pose. So nice long legs. They can have a little bend in the knee if pushing them down is not comfortable. They can be out a little bit. Hands either side of your bottom. Always channeling our mountain pose. So our shoulders are relaxed. We've got a nice straight back. Our eye gaze and our chest are forward. And I just want you to take a couple of breaths here. Now this feels like, wow, we're just sitting. It's really good to practice this for your posture. Yeah, I don't want to be a punchback when I'm older. I'm sure none of you do either. Obviously, there's always different situations when it comes to the spine, like scoliosis, kyphosis, and all that sort of stuff. So we've all got problems, lordosis. but we want to try and create a neutral spine if we can, or our neutral position. Take one more deep breath here. You're going to cross your legs. We're going to do a little bit of rotation just to finish off. So cross your legs in any way that is comfortable. We can try our lotus if you want to give that a go. So our half lotus, where we take one foot up onto the thigh. This does require flexibility. If you haven't got it, stay in those crossed legs. Otherwise, if you want a full flow lotus, you take the other one up as well. This does really require flexibility. It's up to you, yeah? If you don't practice a lot, it's not the comfortable position to sit in. So sit in a nice, comfortable position. On those sit bones, make sure you're actually on the bones in the butt. Again, nice shoulders relaxed, and we're going to twist. We're going to take our right hand onto our left thigh, having your palm facing out. You're going to lift your chest. You're going to take this back arm round, and we're going to get a nice spinal twist. So I want you to use the back of your hand and push it into your thigh for a lever to get you around a little bit more. Taking that eye gaze, as soon as you take your eye gaze to the back of the room, like your chest starts to move round. So if you have your eye gaze to the side, your chest will probably stay there. So we try and get that the top of the spine that's just below the neck all the way round. And every deep breath, lift up that chest a little bit more, lever around a little bit more, and come back to your center. We're going to do that on the other side. So we take our left hand, palm facing out onto that thigh, take that back arm round, lift up, eye gaze turns round. So we want to feel this in our spine. Yeah, it's going to feel, you should feel the twist, keeping a nice straight back, because it twists round. It doesn't twist down. So if that makes sense, we want to keep our back up and turn around, rather than keep our back down and turn around. Remember those deep breaths. Each time, lift your chest a little bit higher, maybe lever yourself around a little bit more. One last breath wherever you're at. Bring yourself back to the front. Carry on that nice little forward fold theme. Just last bit. We're going to take our arms up to the side. We're going to use the weight in our arms. We're going to use the weight in our head. And we're going to fall forward, tip forward. See if we can get that extension from all the flexion that we've done already. See if we can get our head close to the floor. If you've not been able to get your legs down very far, then you're not going to go very far, but just let that weight from your arms and your head get down as far as you can. That's it. Smashing. Let's just let it all loose. It's all a weight, isn't it? Each little breath, that belly comes out, takes you up a little bit, and then you get down and closer as you exhale. Draw yourself up. Stay in that cross-leg position. Put your hands onto your thighs or put them on the floor. Try to keep them as comfortable as possible. Shoulders are relaxed. We don't want to sit up really, really straight, but we don't want to sit curved. Try to imagine as if we're birds, if we're swans. We're looking lovely. We're going to have 60 seconds of silence here. So close your eyes. This might be the only silence you're going to get all day. So enjoy it. Try to empty your mind. Perfect. Bring yourself back into the room. Open your eyes, open your hands, take them all the way up to the side. Hands in your prayer position. Bring your energy back inside. Namaste. Don't forget our YouTube channel and all our other classes. I'll see you next week.